Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Messy Show. Now, before we get started, I want to remind you guys that we love getting stories from you. We love hearing from you. So we want to hear all of your messy experiences, details, breakups, quitting your job, bad gifts, anything. We love that. We're very nosy. Me and Katie, we have a hole that we need to fill. So please let us get filled with your mess. So please make sure that you send us your responses and your submissions to the Messy Show Pod at I never could do
That was
this right.
so close,
Didn't I say I was gonna
Quinn.
do it? I was so
You guys,
close.
you can
So
email us
close.
at Messy Show Pod on all the social medias. You can also email us messyshowpod@gmail.com.
Gmail.com. Gmail, I got that one.
I was gonna
We'll
say
take half credit.
your top energy really crept in there when you were like, "Let us fill you."
Well, I didn't mean well, you're gonna make me blush, Katie.
I know. I'm
making
sorry.
me making me very but we have a very special guest here with us today with this
They're probably like,
craziness
"Kill
that we
me."
have. They're probably
No,
ready to
not at
leave
all.
already.
I'm waiting for my hole to get filled.
Patiently waiting for whole filling. See, that's just manners. With manners. Okay, we have none other than James Tison here. Welcome, James, to the mess. Welcome to
Hi.
the show.
What's up? Hello,
Oh boy.
everybody.
I love it.
It's a rough one, right? Post holiday, it's a little rough here. So of course, for those of you who don't know, James is a very talented, very funny comedian performer. What Let people know what you think they should know about you.
God, what should people know about me? You should know that I'm tech avail and ready to work. If anybody wants to know, I do. I'm
I love
moving,
that.
birthday parties. Just reach out. I don't really know at this point what I'm supposed to be pushing. I mean, I guess you should all follow me on Insta because it seems to be important. But I don't know that my content's all that great or consistent. So
I follow James, and they made a post that I really enjoyed about how fake social media is and all of this. It was a very like how do you call it? It was a very like dismissively passionate post, and I was like, this is such a vibe because like it's so true. Like social media is so fake, and I tell people that all the time. Like it is all fake. Like it's
Yeah.
a tool to be used for your career or for whatever, but it's basically fake, and the people on it are fake. So
yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the hot takes from your Instagram.
I also too at this point, like I think in my 20s, like I wasn't really trying or hustling in anything, and I saw a handful of people kind of find their career or their attention through social, and from a distance, it seemed like, oh, why not me? And now I'm like really in the hustle, and I'm sure you all have seen this too. Like you actually know comedians or know people a little more personally who maybe find success through that route, and like 90% of the time, it breaks them. It totally, they're
It's a
dead behind the
lot.
eyes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and they're doing so much to like keep and build that following that their content gets horrible. They become a horrible hang. I wish I was only talking about one person, but I'm not. It's like
No.
they just seem unhappy and exhausted. So I'm here to say, you know what, follow me if you want. Or don't. Who cares? Get off the
Word up.
app.
No,
But
but
it's
I
so
agree with
true.
you. There
It's
was
so true.
the amount of time it takes to like this is a lesson or not a lesson. This is a an ask of the listeners right now. If you are not like a content creator and you are a content consumer, like you like podcasts, you like comedians, we cannot overstate enough how much it helps to like share something that you like with someone because the amount of work that goes into like a stupid video that just looks like it's just you hanging. It's like you gave up so much time of so much of your time to make this video that is only being played for like 30 seconds and you like I don't know if you guys notice this, but sometimes I'll refinish furniture or I'll do some things like in that way, and I'm like, oh, I should do like a little house Instagram or whatever, and then I like try to film myself doing the fucking thing, and I'm like, this is so much work. Like even just cooking, like I'll film myself cooking, and I'm like, this is fucking exhausting. Like, I just like, it's enough to make the food and then to have to film yourself making it in a way that is attractive. It's like exhausting.
And then
So
heaven forbid it actually does well, because then it's not like you just have people up in your comments being like, this ugly bitch can't actually cook. I could cook that way better. You should kill yourself.
exactly.
Terrible.
Yeah.
And then God forbid you do it in a wig, and then you can never take that wig off ever again.
No.
You are stuck in that wig.
That is about one person in particular, and I'm not going to name it.
But yeah, you make a choice. Like, even people who make like content that people love, there'll be someone on there who's like, why do you have to wear an ugly sweatshirt all the time? And you're like, because this person is
trolls.
making something that you love. So just let them be comfortable.
Yeah. The trolls be trolling. It's, to me, I find that hilarious. Like, I don't give a damn what anybody says on social media, but the amount of energy it takes to go on a post and like heckle, because like, you get heckled on stage, and I feel like, okay, that's a place for it, right? But to be heckled in a post, and you always know when it's bad, and it's like, I know this is just a joke, but I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
And on
Stop
TikTok, it's
the
always
sentence
like
right there.
user 4689702.
Exactly.
Like, you're not a good writer. Like, the only content
like,
is they're like ugly baby, like.
You're like, you couldn't even write a username.
Yeah. The last thing, okay, the real like messy take I have on this now is that like 100,000 or 250,000 followers isn't actually that cool. And like, while I would love to have that many followers on Insta, I absolutely do not. These people think they're famous. Like, there's one person I just did their podcast, and will not name their name, but it was awful. And they kept calling themselves famous. And granted, they do have a ton of followers, but like, they don't get that. Like, okay, 250,000. Like, if you were a network sitcom, you'd be canceled. Okay, because 250,000, they'd be like, nobody's fucking watching this. Nobody knows the show, and you're taken off the air in anonymity. Like, just, it's hard to build that following, and it's cool to get it, but like, get some fucking perspective, you goddamn.
It can't be like the whole everything. We live in this new age of comedy where like that is such a big part of it now. You used to have to go through the farm where you hoof it in clubs, and then you get in front of the right people, and then you get the right time, and you get the spot on the late night show, and then you can hustle again for another few years, and then maybe find something. But now we got it where you can just like do something funny on TikTok, get hundreds of thousands of followers, and then all of a sudden you're a comedian. Because I don't know if I've said this before, but I've done a few shows with comedians who are TikTok comedians, and then they perform live. And it's not just that they don't do well. That is all part of happening. Everybody has a bad night. It's how angry they get. Every time it happens, they get pissed. They get so pissed. And it's just like, this is just not how any of this is supposed to work. If you bomb, embrace the bomb. Just take it. Don't get adversarial with I love seeing it personally. But
I think
it's still
that
bad.
comes from you don't have that practice of bombing as an unknown
In front of real people.
Yeah, that makes you feel that helps you grow your thick skin. So then you have all these people, you know how to deal with online hate or whatever. But real life hate, real life non-reaction in a room is so much worse than online hate. Like, like you say something that you think is brilliant, and the audience is like, no. Like, that's so
like,
much
unless
worse.
you bombed at unless you bombed at like Old Man Hustle, you don't really know what bombing is.
You know who I'll say, not to plug ourselves, but our guest Joe Dombrowski, he was doing stand-up and then blew up online. And so when I opened for him, and they were like, it's this guy who got famous. He was on the Ellen show. He got famous on social media, and I was like, here we go. We have no idea what this show will be. And it was so good. And like, people were texting me, and they were like, how's this person? And I'm like, so fucking good. Like, I was like, actually so good.
So it does happen.
Yes, it does happen.
Yeah, but it's like, if they have that experience, like the same thing with Kevin, because like I opened for Kevin James Thornton, somebody who was doing stand-up for like 20 years before they got big on. That's a totally different vibe of how to like, but it's social media is fake. Like, y'all, I'm telling you, I've said it before, it is fake. It is all fake. And so
I wish
I
I
appreciate
wish
people
more
calling out.
people knew that. It's like, you politicians who are like really good at being a politician.
Yes.
And
Hmm.
then, like, if you've ever then seen them in an actual debate or an interview, it's like, oh, you're not human. Like,
Yeah.
you've done, and that's kind of the balance to me between live and social, where it's like, this is skill. I wish I was better at it, to be honest. I wish I was more
It is a
consistent.
skill. Yeah.
I wish I knew how to work that algorithm to build a following more efficiently. I see the
Yeah.
skill. But the people who are good at that and then think, oh, and that's comedy. I'm good at comedy. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
we can go home now. We're done.
Yeah.
No, it's
exactly.
not.
Yeah.
You're so
Oh god,
close.
that's so funny.
I
Having said that, please follow me on Instagram. It's so fucking important.
it is
Please
though.
do.
I can't get booked without it.
If you guys are listening to this podcast right now, pause it. Go find the show notes and follow all of us a few
All of it.
times over.
All of us. All of us.
We
If
need
your
it.
Finstas, the accounts that
Yeah.
you make just to stalk
Yep.
like that too.
Yeah.
User 4510. You follow
We
me
want
too.
you.
Everybody. We want
Get
you.
your
We need
senile
you.
grandma her own
Get her.
Instagram.
All right. I
Old
have
people are the best.
they are.
They just
I
watch. They don't know how to
have
comment.
I have a here's the question for you guys because I was thinking about something. So I went to my hairstylist. Quinn knows about this. We talked about it.
I do know about this story.
I went to my hairstylist. I have a professional that I pay money to do my hair every 6 weeks. Okay. And I went to see her and she asked me if I wanted like a haircut, but she kind of didn't really ask me. She just was like, just roots. And like, I was just like, sure. Because something happens to me when I enter a salon and I become the least confident version of myself that exists. And I turn into like mustached Katie in 6th grade who's like, thank you for speaking to me. You're doing me this
Did
honor
you
of just
say? Did you
acknowledging
say
my existence.
mustache?
Yeah. And so she was like, just the roots today. And I was like, yes. But in my mind, I had all these haircuts that I had like mood boarded and I was like ready to show her. But because she said, like, this is going to be a quick visit, I was kind of like, I guess it is. And
Yeah.
then, James, I went home the next day. Actually, this is even worse. I don't even think I told you this part, Quinn. I decided that I wanted a fucking haircut. And so while I was at work, because James, I had a hair appointment and the next day I was flying out of the country. And I was doing that. I needed to leave at like 2 p.m. to do that the next day. And so I went to work in the morning. And while I was at work to save time, I took a pair of just work scissors and I started cutting my hair in the bathroom to
Oh
bring the length up.
no.
And then I went home and got my actual like hair scissors and I ended up taking like 6 inches off of my hair like within 20 minutes of when we needed to leave for this trip after I had paid my hairstylist to not cut my hair. And so here's a question for you guys is I realized that going to two places make me very self-conscious, I guess, or just not confident. And one of them is the hairstylist, like the hair salon, and the other one is any makeup counter. And the makeup counter people I think are supposed to make you feel like that so that you buy more shit to make yourself better. But I was wondering if you guys have a place that like is your confidence kryptonite. Like mine is the hair salon. I always feel like a little rat there. I always feel like even though I'm paying them, they're doing me the favor. So do you guys have a place where you have like a confidence kryptonite? And Quinn, go ahead and tell us no right up top.
As a matter of fact, I do.
Okay. Ooh.
And it is also, I like to tell, like I say this sometimes, like I am a top, but I am my barber's bottom because
Yeah.
my barber pretty much runs the show with me in every way. Like I hate to see him talking to somebody else. Like when I get there early and I see him like really like like that really it really fucks with me. I'm like, I thought what we got was special, and
Yeah.
here you are sitting with this bald head motherfucker, and I thought we were tired of that. So it's that, and then it's like, you sometimes, like, when he's not available, I have to go somewhere else to get my haircut. I feel like I'm cheating. I hide it. I have to, like,
Yes.
if I have to go get my haircut by somebody else, I have to wait 2 weeks because I have to let my hair grow back because I can't let him see that I got my haircut by somebody else.
I one time in my 20s, I just wanted a lot of things. What I needed was ADHD medication, but what I wanted was a lot of highlights. And I just went into the place and told this woman, like, I just want all these highlights. And I just showed her all these pictures. And she did like a triangle of my hair and made every single strand within that triangle like a different color. And
Mm.
people that are very nice to me in my life were like, "Oh my god, did you do that yourself?" Like, that's how bad it was. And I paid really good money to fix it. I went to a different salon and I was like, can you just give me back my brown hair because I'm not manic anymore? And I saw the lady who did the first one in a store, and I was like, shit, that's my hairstylist. And my friends were like, who gives a shit? And I was like, I can't let her see that I got rid of all the highlights that she spent hours doing. And they were like, who cares? They were ugly. Like, she deserves that. And I hid in a rack of clothes so that she wouldn't see me while she
Oh
was
my
in the
god.
store.
Were you bullied by a hairdresser as a kid or what?
Like, no, I don't know why this happens. I was just like, she can't know that she like gave me this ugly hair and I fixed it. And my friends were like, she knows she gave you the ugly hair. Like, she knows what she was doing.
I would say my kryptonite confidence thing is also the barber, but it's because right now I go mainly to men because I go to like barber cuts. And the
Yeah.
confidence is more, to me, it's such a challenge to get them to even listen to the words that are coming out of my fucking mouth. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I have to repeat, because I do also, like, you can't tell right now, but usually I take this side down to, like, bald, and then it's, like, a fade on this. It's, like, asymmetrical. And what they want to do is give me a military, what they always want to do to men. They want to give you this, like, really slick back, classic fade, and to get them to not do that, I have to just like try again. I literally I go to the same place every single time. I've like got pictures, I've got whatever, and I'll see them fucking it up as it's happening. I'll see them like not like they'll want to do a fade over here, and then they have judgment. And I just at this point I like just keep the pictures out, and I don't even try because they don't listen. The other place is Manhattan gay bars for me. Manhattan gay bars is fuck with me.
Yeah.
No. I already told you, like, before in the other
You're
episode,
such
like,
a
I don't have
top.
problems about
You're like,
He
no,
is.
I've never cared what another gay person thought of me.
Exactly,
No, I don't relate to that.
He doesn't even care
That's
about
true.
any
I don't
other
care.
person.
I mean, fuck them. I mean, part of me is like that, but also, like I said before, Katie, like, as a black person, I'm used to people not liking me or finding a reason not to like me. So you kind of get thick skin from that. So I assume that everybody, wherever I go, I'm not going to be welcome anyway. So I'm just like, if people are nice to me, that's a bonus. But like, that's not really it's like great. So, but I mean, I guess it is kind of like true. I'm a big guy. I don't have a lot of things to be afraid of. I don't have a lot of things, against that I can recognize that privilege. But I do have a problem in the barber too with them doing it the way I want to, but only because I go to a Dominican barbershop and language is sometimes a barrier, and I only know the nasty words in Spanish, so it doesn't really help me.
You have to learn how to say exactly what you want. And then
I want to, but I just basically just it's just charades, and I just like with pictures, and I mean, they get it, but
James, my ex-wife was more, well, at the time we used to call it butch. Now it's like she's mask. So she
looks like Tig Notaro.
We can still say butch, I think, right?
I don't know.
I'm not
You know
taking
what's
that
so
word
funny?
away.
I feel so old, and I got into like LGBTQ culture so young that like when I first was in it, we would call it like family. Like if you saw a man who was gay, you'd be like, "Oh, he's family."
Yeah,
And
I still do
was
that.
like,
Am I old?
yeah,
You're
I think
telling
we're
me I'm
old.
old?
Yeah.
Okay.
But my ex would go to male barbers, and she would have the same problem where they would just give her like that one guy cut that they know. And she was like, I don't want that. Like, she wanted like your hair. Like, she was like, I want like a more nuanced hair. And I was like, bitch, you gotta go to a salon. Like, these
Yeah.
men don't know how to cut hair. They know how to do this one haircut.
But
Like,
when you get them to do it, this is like the double-edged sword is those barbers who specialize in the fades. When you can get them to do it, they're artists. Like the thing, like it looks so good, and it's usually like $30. Whereas you go to a salon and then it's like $90, and the fade's not as good, but it is what you ask them to do.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It's you just have to take you save so much money that you're like, I'm happy. I can be happy with one.
I can make my.
I mean, it depends. It depends. Like, for me, it doesn't save me any money. I pay $30 a week, so that doesn't save me any money.
Week. See, I should be doing that because of the fades, but I let it go.
Yeah. And I have a fear that if I don't do it, then everybody will laugh at me. That's one thing. I also feel a little insecure if my fade and like if my beard is not lined up, especially around other black folks, because I know how other black folks talk. I'm black folks, so if I ever see a guy, I was like, that lineup is jacked. Why is it? Why look like that? We call it Jason hair. Like me and my friends used to call it Jason hair. Jason is like a black guy who like only dates white guys, and he's let his black upkeep fall through. So like Jasons tend to be a little ashy. They don't really have a lineup, and it's like, and we used to like make fun of him and be like, like you can't go full Jason. You have to get your lineup tight. Put on some lotion. You're still black.
Jason doesn't use seasonings. He's like, ooh, mayo.
Jason is completely crossed up. Jason thinks he's Will Smith. He thinks he's colorless now, and that's not the case. So yeah, I feel insecure around black people if I'm wearing beat up shoes or I don't have my hair cut.
I feel ugly if I don't have my eyebrows done. Like, I get them done like I should do it weekly. Like, I've waited like 3 weeks before, and I go to the same lady, and she goes, I'm so sorry, they're so bad right now. And she goes, you can't do this, you're too hairy. And I was like, okay. I said I'm sorry.
I absolutely love Harry Katie stories. I love the mustache stories. I love the unibrow. I love it so much.
I want to share that because I know there's other hairy little messies listening right now, and I want you to know you're beautiful. Okay, you just gotta get it threaded.
They're not beautiful regardless.
Or rock the mustache,
right?
Rock
the mustache. Do the full Steve Harvey. Oh God, that's so funny. I'm sorry. It's funny every time you talk about it, Katie. I'm sorry.
I know. It's just like, honestly, I'm sure I've said this on this podcast before, but I have a friend who is like very light, like just very fair. And she put in the group chat one day, like, ladies, I have found the ultimate eyebrow pencil. You guys need to buy it. And I was like, thank you, but I'm in the business of taking eyebrow away, not adding it. I was like, love it. I don't do that.
Do you still get the stash? Are you waxing?
Lasered
the stash.
I got it lasered. Yeah.
Oh, so she's not coming back.
She's not coming back. I mean, she probably will. She comes back like every 8 years or so. It's like a witch
just like Sex in the City.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time we think it's gone.
Every time we think it's gone, it creeps back in, and you're like, "This is worse than before."
It creeps back worse. Yep. Oh God, that's so funny.
I don't know why my mustache just kills Quin.
First of all, I'm kind of jealous. I'm kind of jealous because, like, I like hair. I like hair. I never feel like I had enough hair. Yeah, you probably did. It took me forever to get facial hair. I was so angry. Like, all the boys in my class like started to get like facial hair and like body hair, and I didn't. And I was like pissed. Like, I remember like going home and slamming my backpack down. I was so angry. Because like they show off. Like, boys show off in school, and I was like, I have nothing to show off here.
How are you in your 20s still, Quin?
No, I'm in my 30s.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. when did you become the man that you are now?
The man. That's kind of that's funny because I've been probably 6 foot. I was 6'3" when I was like in 8th grade, so I've been
Got it. It's
large for a long
hairless.
time.
Just a
Hairless, like even now, like yeah,
a
like a
large
large
hairless dolphin.
yeah, and it's like even now, like I have like no chest hair, I have like no hair on my stomach, I have no hair on my legs, and I've had like guys accuse me of like you shave your legs. I'm like I would never do something like that. Like I would never shave hair on my body if I had it. I just don't have it. I have it in the
Where you
hot
living?
spots, like where it has to be. The parts that stink is where I have hair and nowhere else.
Perfect.
Yeah.
What a dream.
Like when did you become
We
the man? I was like, is this a virginity episode? I didn't know what to
I
say.
was like, we asked
Oh.
James if he had any messy stories, and we were like, don't worry, we're gonna talk about body hair for like 30 minutes.
Mainly, I can't relate. I'm pretty hairless. Honestly, it
See, you
sounds
know
like
my
you had a
struggle.
stronger mustache than me and Katie than I've
Me too.
ever been able to grow.
And I
I
used
need
to
to
have
learn how
all
to use
this
Quin
lip
too.
with no mustache. Like you
I
should
have
have
big
seen me
lips
as a
too.
kid. Okay, not like me, Katie. Come on. Like my dentist
Oh,
also does like what is that like lip injections with like
your
what do you
dentist
call
does
it?
that?
Yes. Like my
Like
dentist does
collagen,
Wow.
like filters
collagen.
or
Yeah.
fillers.
Fillers? Yeah.
And like people like famous people in there, like I've seen them in there because it's like he's off Central Park on Fifth Avenue. And I when they come out from getting their lips done, they look so
Yeah.
ashamed walking past me. And I just sit there and like
Oh.
watch them like appropriation. Like stick my lips out.
I was supposed to say, do you lick your lips?
But they look so uncomfortable when they see me sitting there,
I
like
mean, it
stealing my
looks
culture.
weird.
How do we feel about fillers? Talking about messy, it's always a misogynistic conversation, and I'm sorry, but
That's okay. So, regarding fillers, I feel like personally, especially the lip fillers, because it turns so much of your lip like out, I feel like that has to
Mm.
feel weird. Like the part of your lip that is supposed to be wet is now dry all the time. Like, does that ever just feel normal? You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. You're like describing my lips, Katie. So
Does that
I don't
happen to
have
you?
anything to
no,
compare it to. I mean, I know what you
very
mean. It's a bit
obviously
more like
real. Yeah,
yeah.
That's
So I
what
get that.
happens.
Like
That's how they work. They like turn your lip out.
I was watching that show. I don't know. I was watching that show, The Boys. I love the show, The Boys.
Mhm.
And the lead woman on that show who plays Starlight, I noticed that I think she gets lip injections because
Mm.
her lips curl up so much, and it's like such a drastic change from like first season till now. It looks
Yeah.
painful to me. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what that's like either.
I'm also shocked by like I wait tables still, and so I am in close proximity to a lot of rich people in New York at all
Mm,
times,
Yeah.
and I'm shocked sometimes, especially in Manhattan, how sometimes the goal is for it to look obvious. Like what the
Yeah.
and like there, it's
mm,
for a lot of people and a lot of rich women, to be honest, it's now like a sign of wealth and a sign that like they're not trying to look like
natural.
like yeah, no. And I always think too of like this is where it's like there's no way to talk about this without being misogynistic, but like I think about like Roseanne's work, who before she was a crazy nightmare,
Yeah.
she was once beloved, and I used to love that show, the original series, and I
That was
always
great for the
she
first
always
3 seasons.
Yeah.
yeah, she got
It was a
work done
masterpiece.
at some point, and it always looked great because she had weight in her face to like play with
Hmm.
things. And then
Yeah.
you see someone like Courtney Cox, who I love, but is like the worst of the worst when it comes to injections. It's like because you can't just put, you can't stuff, I mean,
There's
you can't say
nothing
this to a
there.
top, I know, but you can't stuff something that big and where there's no space, sometimes.
I believe
I
in them, but you're right. Yeah.
I feel like that's something that people, well, actually, I thought it was something that we were learning was like that to have some of that work hold up, you have to have fat in your face. But then I saw this thing that people are having their oh my god, it's called they're having like their their cheek fat removed. That's like a new trend now. And
Removed.
yes, I will see what it's buccal fat removal. And so people
Oh,
are
to
like
like
taking
give people that like enhanced cheekbone look.
yeah. So people are paying
Oh,
like $5,000 to $20,000 to remove fat, and it's like you need that because when you get older, you're gonna if you really care about like appearing youthful,
Yeah.
when you're older, that fat goes away by itself. So you're gonna end up with like you're gonna end up injecting shit back into your face to like make up for what you don't have. I don't know. It's bonkers to me,
Now, hopefully the
but
planet will purge us before all that happens. But back in the day, they used to like remove your back teeth for that. Like they used to
that's
like take
crazy.
out your molars to get that look. So imagine how crazy that is.
No,
This
and
is
then
actually a step up.
the crazier part for me is that I looked at the before and after pictures and I'm like, I can't tell what the person had done. So
And
I'm
that
like,
is the
that's not
worst
good. Yeah.
part of it.
Yeah. But
Wow.
well, I feel if anyone's listening to this and they're like, "Hey, I like my fillers. I love that for you." Just it's I don't know. It takes some people into uncanny valley territory.
I think it's
Yeah.
interesting because it's hard to unless like you said, James, if you're going for a quote unquote unnatural look, then you can just keep going and you'll hit that point.
If you're
But
going
if
for
you're
death becomes her, then yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you're trying to keep it natural, you never know which procedure is the one that is going to tip you over the edge until you
Yeah.
get it. And then
Until
you're
it
like,
happens,
"Fuck." You know,
and
like
then
you're like, "Shit."
other people around you don't know what to say. Like that is actually
Yeah.
what happened to Courtney Cox. So I have followed the ups and downs of her fillers quite closely.
We
And
have an
maybe
expert on the panel here.
Yeah.
I literally so when Scream 4 came out, I'm obsessed with Scream, but the year leading up to that film, they released a trailer and I was like, "Oh god, what happened to Courtney Cox's face?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm going to start watching Cougar Town just
Yeah.
to normalize what she
Oh,
looks like for my brain."
Okay.
And I love
Yeah.
Cougar
we.
Town.
But
Go
what
ahead,
about the
sorry.
friend on Cougar Town though? The other actress from
Krista
the Drew
Miller.
Carey
Well,
show.
this is what I was going to
Her
say.
face, that was
Yes.
a very frightening. I was like, what happened to her? I didn't even recognize her. I used to
Hold
watch. I
on, I
love the
have
Drew
to look
Carey
up
show.
her face.
Didn't even
Love
know who
Drew
she was
Carey.
on Cougar Town.
Oh.
Yep.
I didn't know who
And
she
it's
was. I thought it was someone else.
Courtney Cox now is
Wow.
very open about the fact that like she ended up stopping because her friends finally said, "Please stop." But they didn't
Yeah.
know what to say. Like it was so far beyond the point of looking human before anyone felt comfortable saying anything. And
Yeah.
then she was also so she's on this TV show where she and the other lead obviously are going to the same unhinged
Oh,
plastic surgeon. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's just how it happens. It's like you become friends. Oh, you're getting, oh, well, let's go and we'll go. And then you think, oh, you're in a doctor's hands, but doctors are just like any other profession where half of them are fucking idiots, you
Yeah.
know?
money
There was a
hungry. Yeah,
quote. Well, yes, and that's the thing is like, if you go to a surgeon, they're gonna point out shit that you don't even see and nobody else sees, and then they're like, "Well, this part's fucked up about you," and you're like, "Is it?" And like, I think the other thing too is that a lot of these people have really good genes and they would
yeah.
probably age very gracefully without those procedures, especially like brown people. It's like if you are brown, just I think you'll be okay. If you're brown or black, like please don't fuck your face up. It will be good. Like
Well,
you
as
have
Whoopi
enough.
Goldberg once said, "Black don't crack, but it's spread." We have a different problem that we have to deal with. We sag like this will be down here. I'll look like Stanley from The Office. That's what'll happen to me. It's a different kind of upkeep.
But I just feel like all these people start doing stuff to their face preventatively, and then you don't actually know what you would have looked like if you just let your face go.
Jada
And it,
Pinkett Smith. She
yeah,
didn't need that.
No.
She did not need that.
Yeah, and
No.
her fillers are weird looking.
They are weird looking. Like
Because her face is already good. So it's like
she was
Yep.
well, you know, like this
She's
stuff.
gorgeous with them. I mean, let's be real.
She's gorgeous with
She is.
them. Bald, all of that.
yeah.
She's given beautiful African Dora Milaje, beautiful the way she is. But it's not something I feel personally that she needed, especially at the ages that she was, because she
Yeah.
was not that old when she got them. Because this is a long journey for her. She's had them for about a
Yeah.
decade now.
Yeah.
I mean, Will
Really?
needs
But
them,
you
not
couldn't
her.
tell until. But I don't feel like I could tell on her until recently. It's like the past
No.
Until
few years.
recently,
Like I think she has them in Girls Trip, I think.
she had him in Girls Trip, and it was
Yeah.
very noticeable in Girls Trip.
And that's where I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got him like before that though, because I think the last movie she did before that was like The Women. She didn't have it in The Women, and then she had it after that.
Yeah. But I feel like with like Courtney Cox, she had a quote of this year where she very openly said that she would not do it now. Like she said, there's a time when you go, oh, I'm changing, I'm looking older, and I tried to chase that youthfulness for years, and I didn't realize that, oh shit, I'm actually looking really strange now. That I'm doing stuff to my face that I would never do now.
Okay, so this is also why I like Courtney Cox. Okay, she's not a good actor, but she's like kind of the best worst actor in Hollywood. She just commits. She's extremely authentically herself, even though it's not that special what herself is. She just commits to it, and I found the way she's talked about it to be very refreshing. I'm just like, oh, I looked, and she let them dissolve.
Yeah, I have to say, I like that take. I like that she realized that, because like, yeah, it got scary. I've seen all the screams as well, and it was, you know, when you start to look like The Mask, it's
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
like, is that Ghostface? Oh no, that's Courtney Cox.
No, that's Gail. Yeah,
Gail.
it was bad. So I'm glad she got some awareness there, because I do think it's something you can probably get disconnected from. Like a lot of guys who like work out at the gym, I don't think they understand. You're done. You can go home.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
need to
another
keep.
one where I'm like,
Yeah, we can
what?
flip this. We can flip this misogynist
We can
conversation
flip the
into
misogyny.
something.
We can go the other way. When your head starts looking like a little peanut on your shoulders, I'm like, please stop it. Like, I don't like when you look like you can pop. Like, your body should not look like it can pop.
It's insane.
Yep.
Like, I've seen some crazy stuff, and you think you want to see something really crazy? How about an insecure bottom that's roid raging? That's crazy.
I can't even imagine.
I was just gonna say, talking about gay spaces in Manhattan, the gyms and the gym, like, and it really also talk about fillers, because they're there too.
They're there
The
too.
gay men who get them are honestly the worst offenders. I can't believe I haven't brought that up, because it never looks. They almost intent. They definitely are like, yeah, I can get it. Look at it. Look at it. Like, they're throbbing out of my face.
They have this weird waxy smooth baby doll looking face that they get, right?
That's
It's
just a weird
like
one.
almost like if you take a finger and rub it across their lips, it'll be like a squeak, like it's
Yes.
very unnatural looking. Yeah.
That's creepy to me when you
Yeah,
start
let's bring the
getting,
baby girls into
peppers
this too. Yeah, the gays too. Yeah.
Yeah. Always the
The
worst.
baby
Rupert
girls are
Everett.
also guilty. Rupert Everett. God, but is it? Do you think it's just as hard on him as a gay man because he's a gay man of a certain age? Because Rupert Everett at this point,
Oh yeah, and to be that openly gay in Hollywood
in his
in
late
the
50s,
fucking
early
90s.
60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I like him. He seems like an asshole from afar. I don't know him, but I
He could just
do
be
see what
British.
you're saying. It could, well, yeah. There's not much difference between they are awful, but I do feel for him. I bet he has had to hear some of the absolute most homophobic vitriol from people.
Oh, absolutely.
His entire career.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that people would still be willing to say in the early 80s when he was like in his 20s. So yeah.
Or on TikTok now, but
Don't get me started on that. But that's something that like I kind of feel like everybody's kind of experiencing that because I feel like I've experienced that for a while. Like it was years when I'd be on like Xbox and then I would like beat somebody. Some 12-year-old would call me the N word. This was like back in 2008. Like kids would be wilding out like that. What we see on TikTok is I'm not surprised. I am
Yeah.
not surprised by that. I
That's
used to be
such a
so
weird
mad, like you little
thing.
motherfucker.
Yeah.
Well, you
I
know the
like
whole.
don't go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it's funny you draw on video games in particular because so much of how Trump even won was this like 3 or 4 year process before that election in 2016 of Breitbart and other prominent people on the right tapping in, like noticing the Gamergate and the video
Yeah.
game racism and misogyny and being like, ooh, we should
Oh, they're
tap that
terrible.
well.
Yeah.
We should
They're
organize
terrible.
the shit out of that.
It was
And
a
that you're
it
right.
was a
Now all
perfect
the things
storm.
that were video games in 2008 language where it's like, ooh, that's some hate is now just mainstream internet.
It's mainstream.
Yeah.
It's the video game people, the right wing people, and the wrestlers. Let's not forget the WWE folks.
So I was thinking about that because I was like, are kids like quote unquote worse now? And I was trying to think of like how kids were when I was growing up, and I'm thinking now like um one of my personalities growing up was I was really into like hardcore music and like being very like counterculture of just like where like when Hot Topic opened, I was like, oh, I can't shop there now. That's
Ooh.
like losers shop there, posers shop there. You know what I mean? Like you have to find
Yes.
your stuff. You have
Oh
to
my God,
find your
Katie,
stuff
we
at a
would have
good
done
I'm about
that
to
bookstore.
make
first
my
in
own
high
clothes.
school.
We would definitely have been.
Absolutely, we would
I
have
would have
been.
forced you to.
Yeah.
And but I was thinking like there was this culture amongst a lot of those guys that would straight guys that were in that group were they would go under one of two ways where they were either like the best like socially they were like the best people or they were these like now they would be like gamers in that where like both people
Mm-hmm.
are gamers but these kids were just like lonely angry white boys and some of them took that and like went a little emo and then some of them took that and would be really shitty to their girlfriends and like I remember like they'd be like they'd like be in our group and I'm like I don't like this person like to the point where like I one of them like owns a pizza shop in my hometown now and I go, I'm not fucking going there. I hate that man. And they're like, from when he was 13? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I never saw him be nice to a woman that he dated. And when I say woman, yes, I mean 13-year-old. And I don't care. Like,
Well, he didn't get any better.
yeah, exactly. And so like I think that culture, that feeling of loneliness and having your dad treat you like shit and feeling outcast still existed. It just now is like there's an online community that you can find now that before you just had to be like in your bedroom by yourself or with like three other dudes and now you can
Yeah.
find like 1,000 dudes that also feel shitty instead of
All the
reflecting on yourself you just hate everybody else.
all the YouTube commenters from back in the early aughts were able to get
Yeah,
together
exactly.
Oh yeah,
and can
and
coalesce
Yeah.
all
thrive.
that hate.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like we're living in YouTube comments now.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I do. I never think that anything's actually worse. I really, because that's always. I mean, comedians are always talking about this generation versus that generation, and we used
yeah.
to blah blah blah. I think it's all the same level of dumbassery. You know, like the same amount of people who were horrible percentage wise. It's still the same,
Yeah.
but there's just now everyone has their own little platform that they can let
yeah.
their horrible
Yeah.
selves just broadcast out. I mean, how many podcasts are, you can, like you were saying, Katie, like you can find people who just echo back your own concerns, like right into your little ear, and you never have to
Yeah.
reflect ever.
Yeah. Instead of being like, yeah, that sucked that happened to me, but what can I do to behave differently so people want to connect with me? You can just be like, yeah, women suck. Like,
Yeah. They should listen to hard-hitting podcasts like this, where we
Yeah,
discuss Courtney
exactly.
Cox's fillers. And
I was like, there's so many shitty podcasts, like the 40 minutes you've been listening to, where we talk about facial hair.
We talked about other stuff too. We talked about deep stuff like fillers and
My mustache.
don't bring her up. You know that makes me laugh.
I know. That's my favorite. Watching you lose it over my mustache kills me.
All I see is like a mustache and a little girl, and I'm sorry, that makes me laugh.
I gotta try to find a picture. Like, there was a point where I was like, oh, yeah, this is visible. Like, to not just me.
Oh God, you looking like a little girl on the run. I like it.
Like I'm in a disguise. If I wear glasses, I look like I have the mustache on.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
That was when I was playing the flute, so I was peak cool. Okay.
Katie is gone. I am Kathy. Yeah. This has been fun.
Right.
Thank you so much, Jem, for coming. This was a lot of fun.
Did we do it?
Why don't you remind?
We
did
it.
it.
You know what? Yeah.
We did it.
I think we did it.
We have to have you come back and tell you, because James told us that he has all these really fun stories from when he was binge drinking. And what I want right now, listeners, send us your binge drinking stories.
Oh,
you can
yes.
email us.
Please let me come back for that one.
Yes.
We'll come back. Okay, if you send us your binge drinking stories, we'll bring James back and let them read the submissions. That'll be so much fun.
Yes. And you can send them to us at Messy Show Pod on Instagram. If you just follow Quin, you can DM him. You can DM me. So you can email us, messyshowpod@gmail.com. James, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you so they can DM you?
I am James Tison on everything. And it's spelled Tison, but I have put Tyson and Tison in all of my profiles so that you can spell it however you need to spell it, and you will still find my shit-eating brand of a headshot looking right back at you. TikTok and Instagram.
That's great. Now, everybody make sure you follow them. And thank you for listening, and we will see y'all next time.